He does the external examination. That takes 10 minutes, an hour.
Depends on the person.
Okay.
In a case like this, it could take up to an hour.
Okay.
Yeah. That's realistic. Yeah.
So what are we at? Maybe like 10 o'clock now? He
Uh,
gets in there at
yeah.
8:30. They do a half hour, do pictures and all that, get everyone ready.
That sound about right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now what do we do?
Well, you're going to go back, since we're talking about a defect in the neck. Your man's going to walk over to the light board with the films up there. Will probably bring the assistant over with them and say, all right, let's take a look at this and see what the orientation is. And they're going to look for any kind of radio opaque fragments that are there, because they're trying to see if there is what we refer to many times as a lead storm. So if you've got a round that has passed through, you don't just look for the core of the round itself. You're going to look for any kind of little bits of fragments, and you'll see them, they'll be all over the place. Sometimes you can appreciate kind of the cavitated area that it creates. There'll be some disruption. It all depends on how good the x-ray is, but you're looking for those little fragments, and you're going to look at them, like I said, in the lateral sense and in, straight on like this, AP and lateral. So you're looking through here, you're trying to determine, and they're coordinating about how they're going to approach this. One thing I forgot, we had mentioned it previously, you're going to put in the trajectory rods before you ever break out the scalpel. And those photographs are going to be done. So you're going to take, they look like dowel rods.
Yeah, Dave, can we pull that up again for people? We found that last time just so they can see it, but go ahead, Joseph.
They look like dowel rods.
Is that a quick process, a few minutes?
It's a delicate process.
Okay.
You have to be very careful, because if you're...
What are they called, Joseph? I'm sorry.
Trajectory rods.
Trajectory rods.
Yeah. And they're static. It's not like you're using lasers or something like that. This is not that lasers aren't static, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's something that
Physical
the
object.
doctor is going to place this in there, and generally they're going to be pretty thin. We used to use these kind of, I've seen people use metal. Yeah, that's a dowel rod there.
Right there.
Those are...
Which one's the best one to show?
Let's see. Oh.
With the cop holding it like that?
No, I like the one you got up there with the body. I'd love to see what that one looks like.
Okay.
Can you expand that at all, or no? You are a human. There you go. Okay.
You may not.
Yeah.
Show that.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
But I just,
we gotta
for
mark
purposes
that.
of orientation, you see what I'm talking about, though, and you can see the pitch on it and that sort of thing. You have to be very delicate when you place this in there, because you can disrupt structures. And also, if there's a projectile in there,
You can move it.
yeah, I've seen physicians that'll get, and they'll,
Yeah.
and you can, one of the worst things you ever want to hear is that metal tink.
Yeah.
Yeah,
know?
Since we're not showing it, just so I can describe it to people, I want you to imagine, and you can Google this as well, but if Charlie's wound is here, it is a long, very thin rod that would be put in at approximately what they would determine the trajectory to be based on where the wound is. So maybe like that, and it just sticks out. And Joseph's saying they would do it obviously slowly and carefully to try not to fuck with the area.
You do not want, you as the examiner do not want to dictate the position of the rod. You want the defect to dictate the position of the rod. That's kind of, it's kind of elemental, but it's essential here, because any deviation off of this, it's going to skew data. And you remember how we talked about the chair just a moment ago?
Yeah.
Well, this is an essential component here to see if what we're seeing in the morgue, if it is within acceptable parameters to marry up to what we're seeing that happened or allegedly happened, from what they're saying from the roof down to here. Is it plausible? That's one of the questions that we would have.
But on a time basis, is this a few minutes? Is it pretty time consuming?
Yeah, I hate to keep waffling.
I know.
On you. It all depends on
the
skill of the prosector, how fastidious they are, and some of them, I've been around a lot of them that just like to blow and go. They'll go, and then other people, they're like a deer in the headlights. Sometimes you're wondering if they're even actually thinking. Sometimes they'll just stand there, trying to. You can see the wheels kind of turning, and they're thinking, where do I go now? And it all depends on the skill level of the individual. I would imagine that whoever did this autopsy
Guajardo.
is probably going to be at the top end of the skill level in the staff. You're not going to want to throw a newbie out there.
Right.
And you don't know this guy, Quillharder? You know a lot of these people, so that's why I'm asking.
Nope.
Okay.
He's now the medical examiner of Dutchess County, New York. He's been.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're forensic pathologists are kind of transient, and that happens with some frequency. They'll move around because there's so few of them. If they get a better gig somewhere, they'll go to it. Yeah.
So whether it takes a few minutes or a long time, this is done, and then now it's time to open up and take a look inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's going to start with, and again, it's prosector dependent. You've got to do a standard Y incision, which everybody's seen. Starts here, the apex of the shoulders, comes down over the sternum. You make that initial incision and then down to the pubis, the midline, and you can open the body up.
Do they have to open the sternum, or they just open the flaps?
They create flaps.
Okay.
And they're triangular. It's like a slice of pizza right here. So, and you have to what's called reflecting. You reflect this back. Remember, I was talking about the fascia, the connective tissue. You're reflecting this back, and flips over the face. Then you go down the midline, open up here, and then either you're going to use bone shears, or limb shears, which most offices use limb shears, like you clip a limb with, or they use a Striker's a brand name like Kleenex, but you're going to use an agitating saw. It looks like a cast saw. You're going to remove the breastplate at that point in time, and then you go through all of the organ systems. There's one of two ways to do it. Either you do an organ by organ dissection, or you do what's called en bloc. En bloc means that everything comes out in one big block. In a case like this, you would probably do organ by organ because you're trying to be delicate with each organ. I'm just kind of walking you guys through a standard autopsy here, right? So heart's probably going to come out first. You're going to weigh the heart, see what it weighs. The technician is taking the heart out. The doctor is not taking the heart out. So you open up the pericardial sac. It's kind of like, I talked about the brain has a sac, heart has a sac. You're going to open it. You're going to say it's got straw-colored fluid in it, which the pericardial fluid is straw-colored. You'll open it up, look at the heart externally. You'll hand it to the doc, put it in the scale, you weigh it. And then you go lung by lung. Lung by lung, dissect out the diaphragm, examine the liver in place, check the gallbladder in place, see if it's got stones, remove the liver, look at the spleen. Spleen's kind of connected to the pancreas. You're going to go organ by organ. Posterior, the adrenal glands on top of the kidneys. And you're going to take the kidneys out. You're going to weigh each one of those. And then you're going to do the bowel dissection, which is lengthy. And it's done on every autopsy.
What do you mean by lengthy?
It just takes a while because you have to do what's called running the bowel. And so you go through every inch of the bowel and you're looking for any kind of lesions that's in there. And that's just standard. Again, you don't want to deviate. You don't want to make exceptions. I'm not a big fan of partial autopsies either because some people, they will do cases. I know of cases where people will have a gunshot wound and they only go in and they only dissect the trauma that's created by the gunshot.
Do you think that would fall below the standard in this case if they did that?
Yes, it would. You're going to really get yourself into a lot of trouble with that.
And that's another question too. Again, you want to treat every single thing the same.
Yeah.
But when you had really high profile cases that you were doing, would it be maybe human nature normal in your seat sometimes to maybe take your time a little more, even with a process like that, organ by organ?
No. No. For in cases that I've been involved in over the years, we really weren't respecters of persons in there. I'm not having a big kumbaya moment here. It's just that you have to treat each case, the same, in the sense of you don't want to do less for somebody or more for somebody. There are certain cases that are dictated where you have to do more. Like, anybody that dies in custody, that dissection takes forever because you're actually dissecting the backs of the legs, soles of the feet, palms of the hands, the whole 9 yards, because you're looking for any trauma that an institution could have done.